For today's cup of coffee, we have a subject that some is going to find, they may find it very morbid.
Mm-hmm.
It's not morbid. It's realistic. It's interesting. But you got to realize, again, that we are goth. Even if we're not wearing the black lipstick and all that stuff. No, it's mountain goth.
Goth isn't really about the clothing.
It's an attitude.
Only. It's literally a mind state.
It's an essence of being. To find beauty in what others find grotesque.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah,
yes.
There's a lot of people that's out there going, damn, I'm a goth and I didn't know it. Yes.
Literally, you don't have to be anything in specific to be goth.
No, you really don't. But I still...
Just like religion. You don't, as far as goth, there are goths of all religion, and I have said this so many times, it's the exact same way. Goths of no religion, goths of all religions.
Yeah. It has nothing to do
goths
with a
of all
belief
races.
system. Yeah.
Goths of all body types.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an essence of being. So that's the reason we do mountain goth.
Mm-hmm.
As far as camouflage, when it gets colder, combat boots. That's not a look. That's for comfort and warmth. Those Rockies are some of the most comfortable footwear I have ever owned.
Well, that's like my TUK Dino Lugs.
Right.
And those old creepers. It was more than looks for those. Those are some of the most comfortable shoes I've had.
Yeah.
Because they're completely flat on the inside.
Yeah.
Perfect for my feet.
That's right. I can see that. I can see how that would be. But anyhow, it's not a matter of being morbid. Not usually. We have from Ripley's Believe It or Not, and this was by Engrid Barnett, April 23rd, 2018, 5 weird stories from the history of embalming, which it's a fascinating subject.
Mm-hmm.
And so, more than 5,000 years ago, the ancient Egyptians developed the first embalming rituals to preserve lost loved ones. But let's get real. Mummies may last a long time, but they aren't particularly attractive. And I guess that's one of those, beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
That depends.
So they're interesting. They really are.
I find them intriguing. I find them fascinating.
They are fascinating. It says there's a huge gulf between leathery mummies and the fresh-faced photographic deceased of the Victorian age. That was an odd time with things. We'll get to that.
I heard that it was actually, those death photographs, I heard that was actually a myth.
No.
As far as,
they exist.
Them putting, a body, hooking a body up to a pole or whatever.
We're getting to some of that. We're going to get into some of that. Not the total techniques of the photographs, but we're going to discuss that. The history of embalming includes macabre experiments, noteworthy fails, and cringe-worthy methods. In 2015, archaeologists unearthed 5 embalmed hearts, interred during the late 16th and 17th centuries beneath the covenant of the Jacobins in Rennes, France. Don't make fun of me because I can't speak the French. I speak mountain. That's it. That's
as far as I can go.
You really? Oui. Each remained sealed in a heart-shaped lead urn or cardiotaph. It's the heart box.
Heart-shaped box.
Absolutely.
Nirvana.
According to the inscription on one urn, it belonged to the Toussaint de Perrin, Knight of Brefillac. That's all you're getting. It's probably totally wrong, but it sounded good at the time. Toussaint died in Carhaix, more than 100 miles from his beloved wife, Louise. He also died 7 years before her, but this didn't stop them from resting together, at least in heart. Toussaint's cardiotaph was buried with Louise's body, the ultimate creepy romantic gesture.
Nah.
His heart rests with her.
Uh-huh.
When researchers examined Louise's body, MRI and CT scans revealed her heart was missing. Researchers now speculate it was embalmed, sealed in a cardiotaph, and buried with her husband's body in Carhax. Actually, that's pretty damn cool.
Yeah.
If you really, of course, again, that's a goth thing. Medieval embalming was, well, medieval. Corpses were eviscerated, immersed in alcohol, and stuffed with preservative herbs. The final result involved wrapping bodies in tarred or waxed sheets. The final product, well, not a pretty sight.
Nice.
If it was tarred, how would they have ever peeled that off of them?
I don't know. That's a good question.
But with the kickoff of the Renaissance...
You get like a toothpick and
Yeah,
start
really.
picking.
And
You know, like those rocks that has latex over it?
Yeah.
You literally get a toothpick and you
It's-
start picking it off.
a little bit of the gasoline's on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. With the kickoff of the Renaissance, artists and anatomist, yes, that's it. It's late in the evening, folks. Delved into the dark
late. It's only 8 o'clock.
of the dark art of
My bad,
human dissection.
7:42.
They
As of recording this, it's 7:42.
They wanted to learn about the human body, and they wanted to accurately represent it in medical texts and artwork. Even Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci got involved, but they faced damnation from the church. Obtaining human remains represented an arduous, dangerous affair. So, preserving corpses in a more refined way proved crucial. Leonardo da Vinci kept detailed notes about his experimental embalming fluid recipes, which featured camphor, turpentine, lavender oil, vermilion, rosin, wine, potassium nitrate, and sodium nitrate. He also injected wax into the ventricles of the corpses so that he had something to work with later, which was pretty damn smart. Although English philosopher Jeremy Bentham passed away in 1832, that hasn't stopped him from continuing to attend classes. In fact, his body's been sitting in a corridor at the University of London since 1850. How cool
Nice.
would that be?
That's pretty cool.
I would go and sit and have coffee with that every day. A man ahead of his time, Benham agitated, I don't know why it says that, but it says for prison reform, animal rights, and universal suffrage. But how he wanted his final remains treated comes straight out of ancient times. He requested his head be mummified and displayed atop his skeleton, clad in a black suit. Unfortunately, the head embalming left something to be desired. Benham came out more jerky than man. Dismayed, school officials commissioned a new wax head for display. What happened to the old one? It got unceremoniously tossed between Bentham's feet.
Nah.
In
Damn.
1975, students from the college kidnapped the poorly preserved head, holding it for ransom. They demanded £1,000. The school counters with £10, and the students caved. But the pranks
Only
didn't
10
stop
pounds.
there.
Do you know how much 10 pounds is?
Nothing.
It ain't. That's $10.
I think at that time it was probably less than $10. After students used Bentham's head for a game of soccer, officials got the hint. They removed the head to the conservation safe in the Institute of Archaeology, where it remains today.
That's where it should have been in the first place.
Really? I mean, who does it? Coffee slurp time. Talk amongst yourselves.
I don't got you. Damn.
But now, who would do
Damn.
that? Who would do that?
Those kids, apparently.
You Brits.
Well, at least
slurp.
we can go to school without being shot and killed in it.
No, they have to worry about being knifed and blown
Well, at
up.
least I can go to school and not worry about being shot while I do mathematics.
Oh, until the mid.
I love those videos on TikTok. I really fucking do.
Until the mid.
Y'all Brits got the best sense of humor. Y'all really do.
Until the mid-19th century, embalming only preserved bodies for dissection, not funerals. But the Civil War changed everything, and that, of course, is the American Civil War. We're not the only ones that's had one.
No.
In fact, some of the other countries have had quite a few. That was the Revolutionary War. Don't bring that up. That's still maybe a sore subject because we won.
But it's still a war.
It was, but it's not a civil war.
No,
civil
it's
war
not a
is
silver,
within countries.
silver, not a silver war.
Countries
it's not
fighting amongst themselves.
Civil war, but it is still one of their major wars.
It's like a sibling war. Is basically what it is. So anyhow,
you know what? One of my teachers was like, "It wasn't civil. It's not being like you walk up to someone's hand, and
Right.
shake, and be like, 'Hi, I'm gonna shoot you.'"
right? Well, yeah, that was more of a duel, but it was the war between the states is something that they call it also, which makes a hell of a lot more sense to me.
We're about at that right now,
oh yeah.
and more so.
It says, according to J. David Hecker, a demographic historian from Birmingham University in New York,
Birmingham, Alabama.
approximately 750,000 died during the Civil War. With this horrific uptick in death, a new way to preserve bodies for the long journey home was needed quickly. Ice-lined coffins and airtight receptacles did the job, but they proved cost prohibitive for most families. As for medical embalming, the solutions were highly poisonous. In fact, medical students kept dropping like flies after coming in contact with the stuff.
No shit.
So that's counterproductive.
Yeah.
Fortunately, a surgeon named Thomas Holmes came on the scene. He introduced a new non-toxic embalming fluid just in time for the conflict's mass carnage. By 1861, Holmes earned a national acclaim when President and Mrs. Lincoln held a funeral at the White House for their beloved friend, Union Colonel Elmer E. Ellsworth. E. They could have just like, E. According to Ms. Lincoln, Ellsworth's body appeared, quote, natural as though he were only sleeping, end quote. The handiwork of Holmes,
Have y'all
Ellsworth...
seen an embalmed body? That skin doesn't stay up, though. It droops.
The handiwork of Holmes...
It's disturbing. Pull that shit back, Maria! That's what it's like.
Ellsworth's body brought him overnight as the father of modern-day embalming. During the Civil War, Holmes embalmed more than 4,000 bodies. His colleagues followed suit when they saw how much money could be made. Unfortunately, Holmes's non-toxic embalming fluid continues to pollute soils near 19th century cemeteries to this day. And what happened to Holmes when he died in 1900? His final request was to not be embalmed.
And they still embalmed him?
No, they didn't say that. It just said he didn't want to be embalmed. With popularity,
I don't blame them.
With the popularity of Holmes's new fluid, Americans could care for lost loved ones like never before, and they could ensure that no one got buried alive, a real concern at the time. But embalming didn't include hospitals, morgues, or funeral homes. All these facets of sanitized death came much later. I like that phrase, sanitized death.
Sanitized death came about 1800s or early 1900s.
Now, here we go. In Victorian America, death stayed home. When a family member passed away, usually near or at home, two people were called, the doctor and the undertaker. The doctor declared the dead person truly lifeless. Then the undertaker set up shop in the kitchen or bedroom to start the embalming process.
I don't want someone cutting up a body in the kitchen. Damn, that's where I cook. We're gonna be eating human livers for dinner.
This is embalming. It's not an autopsy, so there's.
I don't want that. You still have to take organs out.
Now listen, this is how they did it then. I don't know how they do it today. The funeral took place in the family's home parlor. A social affair, it attracted extended family, neighbors, and members of the community. Mourners visited with the deceased before heading to the dining room for a feast. Dinner included cakes, relishes, pies, tea, and coffee. That sounds like how we do it in this area and a lot of places in the South. Afterward, cringe-worthy photos were shot with family members and the deceased in lifelike poses before burial. Now, as far as what you were talking about earlier, how they articulated the corpses or something like that. I don't know. They didn't get into that, but that was a thing. The creepiest ones were of kids.
Human taxidermy.
No, not really.
No, people are trying to do that.
Well, I can understand that. I really can. There are different cultures that they do sort of mummify the remains, and I can't remember whether it was Peru or one of the places.
I mean, they dig the body. Like, some places literally dig the bodies up, walk them.
Yeah, what do they do? Like, do they dress them again for the year or something?
Put their new clothing on.
Coffee slurp talk.
Something, I don't know. It's something.
So I think it's pretty cool, and it's just like Dia de los Muertos when they go to the graveside and they have the little cakes and they
to visit Mexico just to see the parade, just to see the whole event, because that is an amazing time.
And it seems like in New Orleans that they also, different times that they go and that they will offer like drink or different things like that to the deceased. I think that's way cool.
Yeah.
Now, this leads us to something that is modern day, and that is called the death positive movement, or that is by the Order of the Good Death. The founder is the mortician, and youngest kid has watched her for quite a while, and it's Caitlin Doughty. And you can find her on YouTube.
Mm-hmm. Ask a Mortician.
Yeah, Ask a Mortician. She's got some really interesting stories on there. One of the reasons I don't watch her more is, now we try not to drag politics into our stuff, that much. It's like basically...
Which a lot of her stuff is...
It's very political.
Yeah.
She gets really political with it. I mean... Our basis of politics, it's like we basically conservative, but we just want government to leave us the hell alone.
She does this thing where it's like people... An organic funeral is what she basically tries to do.
Well, and we've got on the website, and I will include both links will be in the description box. And so you can explore the website. Mm-hmm. There's quite a bit to it. But what I have here, what are the tenets of the death positive movement? And there's 8 of them listed. 1, and she says, I believe by hiding death and dying behind closed doors, we do more harm than good to our society.
Yeah.
2, I believe that the culture of silence around death should be broken through discussions, gatherings, art, innovation, and scholarship. 3, I believe that talking about and engaging with my inevitable death is not morbid, but displays a natural curiosity about the human condition. 4,
everybody wonders about that.
Sure they do. 4, I believe that the dead body is not dangerous and that everyone should be empowered, should they wish to be involved in the care for their own dead. Mm-hmm. I can see that.
Yeah.
5, I believe that the laws that govern death, dying, and the end of life end of life care should ensure that a person's wishes are honored. 6, I believe that my death should be handled in a way that does not do great harm to the environment. 7, I believe that my family and friends should know my end-of-life wishes and that I should have the necessary paperwork to back up those wishes. And 8, I believe that my open, honest advocacy around death can make a difference and can change culture.
Mm-hmm. She's doing a damn good job at it, too, honestly.
Well, where they were talking about the sanitized death, and that's exactly what that has done. And, I mean, everybody has their own thing about this. But in some ways, I think that it leads to a fantasy, that it still does not provide total closure.
It doesn't.
Because, like where Ms. Lincoln was talking about how that the person looked like they were sleeping. Okay, they make them look like they're sleeping. They're not sleeping, they're dead.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when you see that gives you closure.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah. And those that believe that there is an afterlife and stuff, that is one of the things that we understand, that the body is not the person, it's just the vehicle they were driving.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I've explained it to kids. That's how I've explained it to other people. And kids get it.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I get it.
So, interesting funerary customs, how embalming has changed. What are you looking at?
But what Caitlin Doughty does is an organic funeral type of thing where she doesn't do embalming usually.
No, she does not.
She tries to put them in a very ethically sourced coffin, organic, so that it is biodegradable.
It's my giant banker box, I told you.
Yeah. And so, like, she tries to do it as organic as possible.
No, they did have
while still, like, trying to celebrate their life, but also be like, death is not something you should fear.
Right. And I think that's one of the things that freaks people out.
She was the one that piqued my curiosity as far as becoming a mortician, which I still kind of...
Well, it's like... I totally lost my train of thought. Anyhow, it doesn't matter. She's got some beautiful shrouds on there.
Yeah.
And one of the things was the chin straps that they used to do. And because when you find out some of the things as far as modern day embalming and preparation of a body, it's not nice.
They have to staple and wire the mouth shut so it doesn't just drop open.
Right. So that was the thing for the chin straps, that it just simply went and it tied on top of the head. Think of, as far as...
nice rabbit ears.
Well, as far as Scrooge, when you had Jacob Marley come and he untied that. Not Bob, Jacob. But that was why they did that. Bob. But the website explains a lot of things that... It's going back to different traditions.
Yeah.
And as far as the families taking care of these things, and it used to be that you had friends and extended family that was not necessarily the very next of kin that would come in and prepare the body. Because that's something that when you've got immediate family that they're dealing with the grief rather than, so they don't have to prepare. And there were people in the communities, like the women that would come in and they would wash the bodies and do all those things.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as far as having somebody back in the home, why would you not?
Yeah.
Have somebody, have the wake, have somebody sit and watch for 24 hours.
In the backyard.
Yeah. Yeah. So
beautiful granite tombstones.
Well, and these are things that people have to think of in this day and time when they're wanting thousands of dollars to do these things.
Yeah. It's insane.
It is. But to be able to have somebody, if somebody has the, property and land available, that you could just put your person right there, put a little marker, go out and stand there and talk to them while you drink your coffee.
You know what I want on top of my tombstone?
What?
Shrunken head.
Oh, good
I want
God.
I want it carved into the tombstone. I want the shrunken head carved on top of the tombstone.
God. To sit there and go, he was an aficionado.
Well, what does that mean?
That means that you really liked the shrunken heads.
Yes.
You like the idea of the shrunken heads. I don't know. I have problems.
Take my head.
That is somebody's face.
When I die, skin my head, shrink it, put it on display in Ripley's. Go right ahead. Actually, no. Put it somewhere else. Don't give it to Ripley's. They toss their stuff out to just anyone. I'm looking at you, Kim Kardashian.
Well,
ruined a piece of history.
Ripley's is in denial of that right now.
Oh, the hell they say. We saw the photos.
I know, but stay on topic.
Shrunken heads.
Stay on topic. So, interesting things as far as preservation. And at some point...
that goes into the preservation.
Sure. I haven't forgotten as far as the history of tattoo and stuff like that. I had seen an article within the past week or so where it was the preserved tattooed skin of a sailor or something. But now, that's not that uncommon. That's some of the Japanese bodysuits that the people did donate the skin so that that artwork could be preserved.
Because that's exactly what it is. It's art.
Yeah.
That you just wear all the time.
And it's just people's attitude about some things. It's a recent attitude about some things. So maybe we need to have a change of attitude in some things.
We got this little coffin at Myrtle Beach many years ago.
Did.
And it's amazing.
It is a cool little coffin.
I love it.
Because, yes, we really are like this.
It's mine. It's mine.
And we got it up out of the basement. I don't know why it was in the basement, but now it's here.
There.
But now it's here, and we're able to use it. So.
And it's got that good, nice tiki beachy vibe to
Sort
it
of.
too. But still with that goth element that I love.
Oh, yeah. I can't remember where that was
the
from.
idea of goth and island culture merging together.
Well, we've got the goth pirate thing, the mountain goth
Goes
thing.
right in with that.
It sure
Goth and
can.
pirate.
It sure can. But I still love, as far as the traditional Gothic, Victorian, Edwardian, all that stuff. The style, yeah.
Yes.
That's some good stuff. Anyhow, if you've had experiences with the supernatural, paranormal, encounters with UFOs, aliens, cryptids, interesting funerary and or embalming techniques, if you've got
What's
family,
your experience with burial stuff?
Family, regional, local myths or legends. Yeah, if you'd like to comment and explain pro or con on any of today's customs or previous customs, that'd be great. Send us an email, cupofcoffeewithscream@gmail.com. And the email address is there in the description box also. Know that you're loved.
Yeah.
And while you're here, enjoy yourself. Help other people.
Yes.
Do good.
Yes. And if you like this video, don't forget to like, share, comment, and most of all, subscribe and click that notification button for daily notifications of our daily uploads. Thank you all. Have a good...
Yeah, we didn't have company tonight. We didn't get interrupted.
Yeah.
We'll see you on the next cup.
Have an
Bye.
organic funeral.
Yeah. Have a good life.
Yeah.